For a crime that attracts 20 years jail term, life imprisonment or maximum sentence, the upsurge in kidnapping across Nigeria raises questions on effectiveness of the current deterrent measures. With many victims killed in the course of their adoption and millions lost to ransom takers, kidnapping has become a menace that has no age limit. Gunmen in Delta State kidnapped a 13-year-old girl, demanding for a ransom of 10 million naira for her release. In Lagos State, residents of Aboru are still angry over the invasion of police officers. These are top stories on Crime Watch today. I'm Ivy Kano. Let's begin with our crime news.
Another person who sustained gunshot injuries in the two bank robberies in Ile-Oluchi, Ondo State, has died. He was one of the security guards at the bank at the time the incident occurred. His passing brings the death toll to 5. Many residents are still in shock since the attack on the two banks in the community. The police says it has arrested 3 persons alleged to be members of the Ansaru terror group following sustained mop-up operations. This was disclosed in a statement by the force spokesperson, Frank Mba. According to the statement, the development now brings the number of persons arrested from the terror group to 8. He said investigations revealed that the arrested suspects were involved in the attack and attempted kidnap of the Emir of Potiskum that led to the killing of the Emir's police escorts. According to the force PRO, they were also involved in several other kidnap operations and terror attacks in the northwest and north-central states. The police in Kaduna State has confirmed the abduction of the daughter of the former Vice-Chancellor of Ahmadu Bello University, Abdullahi Mustafa. 35-year-old Mariam Abdullahi Mustafa was taken by armed men on Friday night. They also shot and injured the security man at her residence. The police say they got to the scene and engaged the hoodlums in a gun battle, killing one of them while several others escaped with gun injuries. Meanwhile, the injured security man is currently receiving medical attention. 7 suspects are in custody of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps in Rivers State for allegedly sabotaging electrical installations. The men are amongst 13 suspects paraded by the agency for various offenses in Port Harcourt. The suspects were conveying power transformers and other items believed to have been stolen. The NCDC describes the discovery as unfortunate, coming at a time when the federal government is working hard to improve power supply. Investigation is on to ascertain ownership of the seized goods as well as to track down the employers of these young men in custody. The command also paraded 6 suspects for alleged crude oil theft in Ikwere and Eche local government areas. They were separately arrested with an unspecified quantity of petroleum products.
Quite disheartening to note that despite the federal government efforts in ensuring the power sector lives up to expectations, some bad elements in the society choose to constitute themselves as hindrance to its will of progress. On the 7th February at about 0024 hours, 7 suspects were arrested with the following items: 13 drums of suspected transformer oil, 5 suspected step-down transformers, 1 200 kVA transformer, 2 rolls of suspected transformer cables, 2 bags containing suspected bolts, and 48 suspected fiber ladders used for vandalism.
Let's take you to Delta State, where suspected cattle herders, believed to be the group behind a failed kidnap attempt in Isele Azagba community in October 2019, have also kidnapped a 13-year-old girl and killed 1 person in the process.
Asagba Mixed Secondary School is where the assailants attacked October last year, but they were resisted by a local vigilance group and security operatives. But this time, The gunmen had little or no resistance, making away with a teenage girl.
In the evening, around 8:30, the woman wanted to go and buy fuel and now brought her children here in my house. So when she was coming back with bike, she called my wife to tell them to come, that she's home, that she's at home. So when the children got there, so we started seeing the way things is going. And I said, okay, let me go and know what is happening there. Because of the light that was showing, now show my shadow one side. Instead of straight, they now shot at my shadow. That's why we did not interrupt anymore. We now went back and started calling people for help. After some time, I now went back. I now went there and asked her what is happening. She said they have taken her daughter away.
And the father said they called him and asked him to bring money, that they are with his daughter. So he spoke with the daughter too. And he said something about 2 million, and later they said 10 million.
Naji Obinna's father narrates how his son met sudden death, falling victim to the murderous acts of the invaders while on their way out of the community.
Boy was there with the boy. He cooked, shared the food to everyone here. Around 6 o'clock evening, left his job at a young company there. Maybe I say when there, as usual, if you go there, there's no work, we'd have to turn back. So he went there, and as we're coming back where there's no work, he met the hoodlums on the way. He was shot down. That's what I know about it.
The community is in grief, but police authorities have confirmed the incident and say efforts are already underway to fish out the perpetrators.
Our second story is a rather sad one. We move to Aboru, where police bullets hit a secondary school girl. This is Ayo Afolabi area of Aboru. A day before, a 16-year-old girl was hit by a stray bullet in front of the shop. The owner and other eyewitnesses say it was like a scene from a movie.
Before you know, I just had a gunshot, bam. So, before I know it, I just saw a girl on the floor, a school girl, crying, my leg, my leg, my leg. So I went there, called some guys to rescue her, to help her. So I now took her, got a bike, we now went straight to the Saks men where they were standing. Please, you've shot this girl. Is there any way you can be of help to her? Let us carry her to the hospital. He said no.
I was across the road when I saw the girl was shot on the ground. And we are trying to call some ambulance when we saw them and to assist us for the girl to be in the hospital. But they are not even wait for us to take the girl to the hospital. And even some tear gas, they are blowing some tear gas. And I have some tear gas here with me, live and direct, here with me. Because what they did here in our community is very, very terrible.
Family and friends of the shot girl are most concerned about her well-being.
They were at Ikeja till 1 o'clock in the midnight yesterday before they attended to the girl. They said they should go and bring 140,000.
This shop owner was lucky. Another stray bullet missed her by the whiskers.
My show glass was actually here, and the next thing we saw when I ran outside with my son, we saw this, that the bullet penetrated here and it entered through here.
Motorcycle riders and owners say they are confused on the mission of the officers in the area.
So we are asking if this place is among the place, he asked them to be arresting Okada so that we'll be aware.
He entered my compound, so he broke the machine, so he carried my machine, like 5 machines inside my compound.
It was a terrible situation, which I don't know where we are going in this country. I mean, the mechanic at Raja Rasaki Street, the policeman entered and jumped fence, carried some of Okada where they parked for the fence, for the house there. So my machine is in that mechanic. Then I left before they came. So when I came back to the mechanic told me that all the whole machine is in his shop, then pack it.
The Nigerian police are too unprofessional in the way they handle things. I saw them here yesterday, the way they were behaving. They were even behaving more like the area boys yesterday. And again, another thing, see, for police to go beyond the scope given to them in the name of trying to enforce government policy, I think that is also terribly bad. For police to start going into people's homes to pick bikes, I think that is a kind of legalized daylight robbery.
Her case was different as she claims she was stripped naked by the unidentified officers.
There were 9 of them. They descended on me, tore my clothes and beat me up.
This building is one of such that was raided in the area, and motorcycles parked here were carted away by the police officers. Reacting, the Commissioner of Police says all allegations will be thoroughly investigated and those involved brought to book.
Rest assured that it won't be swept under the carpet. We cannot be committing a crime and creating another crime along that line. That one is completely unprofessional. It's not the way we do things at all. If anything happens, any infraction they arise by any of our men, they must not hesitate to bring to my knowledge. And I promise them now action will be taken immediately because we are to protect members of the public. We can't be asking for their assistance, their cooperation. We can't be propagating community policing with one hand, and with the other hand now infringing on their human rights. We'll never do that.
16-year-old Miriam Shobula has been transferred to a general hospital for proper medical attention. Coming up next is the concluding part of our last week's interview with security analyst Oluseyi Adetayo on the importance of background checks on people we intend to hire for various tasks. Are there specific steps or methods in which one can carry out a background check?
Investigation, so to speak. Background check is a form of investigation. And investigation by private individuals are not yet backed by law. Let me put it this way. For you to carry out a background check, it means you are carrying out an investigation. Now, who is the investigator? If the investigator is someone outside those with the jurisdiction, that is the Nigerian police, the DSS, that has a jurisdiction to carry out such investigation within the Nigerian population. If you are not one of them, that means you are carrying out a responsibility that is not backed by law as an investigator. However, if the person to be investigated, for example, employment check, gives you the authority to say, I, having filled the form to say, these are my information, and I'm giving you the authority to talk to my school, to talk to my employer about me, to confirm this information. It means that the person has given you a kind of a power of attorney, a kind of authority to say, I'm not going to claim any liability or sue you for intruding in my privacy. And for organization that you are going to ask the question from, they will need a kind of a clearance. So it is that authority given to you by that individual is what will empower them to provide you that information. To say, this person is saying that we can release this information. So please, we need a copy of this. In case something come up in the future, we can refer to this and say, you gave the authority that we should release your information.
Are there any specific methods of carrying out a background checks?
We are able to put all necessary things in place. We'll get the desired kind of investigation results that we want, and the turnaround time will be good. But I want to give credit to all Nigerian investigators. We've been able to do great job, despite the fact that we don't have, a pool where we can, take out this information from. But we're still able to manually obtain this information, at least to a great extent, be able to determine the real identity or confirm information that has been provided by an individual in respect to areas of interest or questions that are being asked or that we need confirmation on.
Is background check backed by law in Nigeria? Do you have a law backing that?
It's a need, and it will only be conducted when the need arises. So background checks can be conducted on anyone. For example, those that are taking up government positions, they are always investigated by the DSS, and they check them. There is a personal history form which they are made to fill, and they will check them from when they were born till the present time to confirm, and they are checking them against, because anyone that will be given responsibility in government, it means that you are going to have access to some level of classified information, and which you must be given authority to have access. So you need what is called a clearance. So that background check is necessary to check and to confirm that you are eligible to be given such clearance to handle sensitive information or material. And for moving away from that, organizations need to verify who they are about to be employed. They are about to employ, and they need to understand or to know or to confirm if all the things that this person has claimed in his CV that they are true. You say you worked at a particular company for a particular number of years. We need to confirm not only that you work there, we need to understand the circumstances surrounding your exiting that organization. And you'll be surprised that there are so many people. In fact, statistics shows that 85% of CVs contain bogus information. So, and that is worldwide. But if you look at that of Nigeria, I can say about 90% of Nigerians, one way or the other, have embellished their CV to make themselves look good and attractive to prospective employer. So you need to confirm this. If someone is claiming that, oh, I came out with first class, you need to confirm, yes, truly he graduated. But did he graduate with first class? You need to confirm this. Someone claimed that he went to a particular secondary school. You need to be sure that he truly went to that school. And NYSC, we saw of recent a minister with a bogus NYSC certificate. And I think that happens to be one of those that was so critical about that if some of us had to pass through the system, everyone, if the law says you have to pass through this, so you cannot claim that, oh, you didn't know that it was forged, because you are supposed to be the one to process as an individual your own certificate, not through a third party. So if you go through a third party and you are given a bogus certificate, it means that from the onset you knew what you were going into. So that's the reason why we carry out this, because you've seen a lot of discharge certificates, NYSC exemption letters that are bogus, because there are lots of people in and around NYSC secretariats that help people that are not qualified. You see, people will come and say, I want the NYSC certificate. And you have to go through the procedure. Are you eligible? So when it's clear that they are not eligible, there is a way that those who produce this will now approach them and say, you know what, we can help you to get it. So from beginning, you are aware that you are not eligible. And the same thing goes to, for every other aspect. And it's not only that. You see, someone wants to get married. You really need to know your husband. Background check, you see, you've seen families that engage private investigators to help them to check their will-be son or daughter-in-law. Claims he's working in one big company. They want to know. I've seen someone married to a lady, and the lady came to petition that the guy lied that he's a big guy, only for her to discover, maybe a few months into the relationship, that the guy is actually a driver in that organization. Like, well, you didn't check well enough. And for a driver to have been able to woo a banker to a level that becoming pregnant for him, it means the guy must have done well as a driver. So background check is important to answer so many questions.
Okay. Does the subject, like you want to carry out a background check on me, am I supposed to be aware? Am I supposed to know that I'm being investigated?
Professionally, there is the positive vetting. Another word for background checks is vetting. Vetting is more comprehensive. There is positive one, and there's the let me just put it so that those who are listening can understand. Okay, there is a main vetting or background check, and there is one we call the continuous one. Now, the continuous one you might not necessarily need to know, and it's not done all the time, but let me explain so that you understand the difference. Now, the first one is the main background check that will be done. So for every organization that is asking you to provide either personal history or personal information, at Benicio they will tell you that all the information you are presenting we are going to investigate. Now, what they will not tell you is who is going to carry out the investigation. Whether we're going to engage one of the vendors, or we're going to ask government to help us to check, or even if it's a government organization, they will not tell you whether it's a DSS, but you have an understanding that definitely your information will pass to the DSS, so you know. And there's also a aspect of it that's called reference check. Definitely, they're going to talk to your references, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 people and they will get back to you and say, oh, we got a call from either DSS or a company that is doing, and they're trying to ask questions about you. Oh, because I sought employment somewhere and they are the one. Now, that is the first one. Now, there are organizations, including government, that also carry out what is called continuous vetting. And this is expected that between the time that you are employed and over the period of 10 years, they need to continue to check you, to continue to update. That's why you see that banks will at times ask you to update your data, your address, and they still carry out KYC. After you do, you update your information with the bank, they are still expected to carry out KYC, know your customer, on those new informations that you have provided. Is an aspect of continuous vetting. But in the real sense of it, you may not really know. And if it is government, they will secretly confirm your bank account to try to check inflow of money to be sure that you are not engaged in, especially for those who are handling sensitive, information or documents, and they still try to check various aspects of you, including where you're living, addresses that you gave, and also to check to be sure that you are still the same person that they gave clearance to. And this is not just peculiar to Nigeria, it's done all over the world. It is an aspect of personnel security to ensure that the personnel are secured. This person is still who we know him to be. So you may not necessarily know that that is being done. And as long as you are still in the employment, it means that you are still checking out fine.
And before we go, here are some tips on conducting background checks on people.
Make it relevant to have background checks on potential employees. Inform applicants about the process up front and get their consent. Don't and start looking into their history, you may be breaking privacy laws. Get written consent. It is important to make sure those being checked consent to you conducting a background check on them. If you decide against hiring candidates based on their background check report, you must inform them and provide a copy of the report. Ensure you do not use background check information in a discriminatory manner. Be sure you comply with guidelines laid out regarding race, sex, religion, disability, age, or medical history.
That's Crime Watch this week. Stay with us for more updates on our social media platforms at TVC News NG using the hashtag Crime Watch. I'm Ivy Khan. Do have a crime-free week.